Yes, that noise that you were just hearing was the starter motor spinning, and as of an hour ago, that motor was actually smoking. Well, 2 years ago, I replaced the starter on this Honda Odyssey, which I do have a video on, and as you may know, I replaced the starter because it went bad. Well, when it comes time to replacing your starter, you're left with many options, some better than the others. Well, a friend of mine decided to go with the cheaper alternative, which was purchasing a remanufactured starter. Price is normally lower, and they do have warranty as well, so it sounds like a better deal at first if you're trying to spend as little as possible. But as you may already suspect, it doesn't work out to be the best decision. So my friend calls me today that she can't get the van started, and it's been doing this buzzing and won't crank or anything. So I told her to disconnect the battery in the meantime. So now I'm in front of it, and sure enough, when we reconnect the battery, it kept doing this. So I hit the starter and got it to crank, but by the time it got here, it was smoking and still buzzing the whole drive. So I let it cool down, and we find ourselves here. And yes, to get it to stop, I have to disconnect the battery. And as you can imagine, that starter must be hot, and I cannot touch it right now. Well, let's find out just how hot it is. So to give us an idea of how hot it is right now, I'll be using this infrared thermometer to tell us. So I begin to point at the starter motor, and as you can see, it's almost pretty close to reaching the 250 degrees. And actually it does reach the 250 degrees. And if you compare that to anywhere else on the engine block, it's definitely not even near that temperature. So after letting it cool down enough to be able to handle it, I was able to remove it, but as you can see, it's still pretty hot. While the mount furthest from the starter motor is actually a little cooler. So yes, all we gotta do is take it to where we purchased it and they'll swap it. Or as I did, get the same one and they'll refund it once they get the old one back. Some places may even let you pay the difference for a new replacement instead. I personally always prefer a new starter over a remanufactured because new starters come with completely new parts inside. Remanufactured, on the other hand, have some new parts and some remachined parts, and it's also dependent on the person who did the work as to what you're going to get. And of course, you always want to swap any parts from your old starter to the new one, which is why I always do it this way. This replacement starter is missing a bracket that the other one had. So after swapping the bracket over, this starter is ready to go back in and the other one to get refunded. And the replacement starter is now installed and the battery reconnected. And as you can tell, the noise is now completely gone. Now all that's left is to try to start it and see how it sounds. Well, it sounds like it's back to normal. Well, I hope you found this video helpful or informative in some way. If so, please click that thumbs up button to support this video and my channel. And please subscribe if you haven't done so.